Hey everyone. So I had a lot of views on my video I did before about pornography and how it affects the energy. And I thought that I would do another video because it seems to be such a popular subject people want to know about that I went a little deeper and did some more reading. And first, before I go into it, I want to say that, you know, not all porn is good or bad, it's not so black and white. Um, and I'm actually for pornography. I think it's a good thing to have. But, however, I also have to recognize that the industry has gotten worse over time. And it's kind of like this slow tiptoe effect that happens so slowly that you don't really notice it's happening until you look back like a decade or two and compare. And one thing that's good to note here is that within Chinese medicine and Ayurveda and many of the ancient healing systems of the world, they all tend to have one thing. Well, they have lots of things that are common, but one of the things that they all agree on is that your sexual energy is your vitality, and it's either is your life force or is associated with your life force. And one way that this shows up is if you look at people who have, you know, lower sexual energy, it usually correlates with their health, their vitality as people age, and things like that. So, to have control over someone's sexual energy and to be able to manipulate it is a very powerful thing to have control over. And there are entities that want to feed upon your energy. So when your emotions are out of balance, it makes it much easier for these entities to feed on your energy. And when I say out of balance, that can be kind of abstract. One way of understanding that is, do you have a general sense of owning your emotions? And I like to say it in an abstract way like that because it appeals more to your emotional intelligence when it's abstract rather than your intellect, because your emotional intelligence is the one that's really going to be relevant within your life experience rather than your intellect, which usually doesn't affect your behavior as much. However, for your intellect to understand this, what I mean by owning your emotions and having your emotions in balance, that can be recognized as a general sense of authenticity. Do you feel like you're being your real self, or you are in interest of your true self or your higher good? Are you more aware of yourself and your actions? Are you in control, in the driver's seat, so to speak, and conscious to what you're doing in the world? So if you're unconscious, speaking from an energetic perspective, looking at energy, you are not realizing or living your full potential. That's kind of what being unconscious is. It means that you kind of let part of your potential be controlled by something other than your consciousness. Um, so where does this energy go? It can go to many different places. Sometimes it can go to just the group dynamic, the group agreements, the little society, if you will. And that can be good, but it can also be like you're not driving the car, so to speak. You're not in the driver's seat. And this can be taken advantage of by entities that want to feed off of your energy field. So sometimes quick indulgences can be used to avoid reality and, take you out of being in control, and you can actually get addicted to that as well. And this is all part of a agenda that's been put in place by many spiritual entities that want to take advantage of you. And they all kind of work together like an orchestra. And this is specifically done to disconnect you from your spirit, to cause a disconnect from you and your higher self, so they can feed off of you. Now, this is beyond just, pornography, obviously, but pornography is a tool that can be used sometimes to further this agenda. But this can also just be seen in a lot of the tyrannical culture and society, and even just the what's labeled as toxic masculinity, things of that nature. So porn in general, it's taking on kind of a spirit of its own, its own energy. And when I was reading it, I was seeing that the direction that it's headed, or it's been heading, is more of this domineering, kind of cannibalistic type of sort of abusive energy. And so that, I don't mean like literally cannibalistic, but I do see that there are corporate higher-ups, you could call them elitist if you want, type of people, who are working to further this agenda, and they're not necessarily doing it consciously. They don't really necessarily know that they are doing it, because they're a victim of it as well. And just like, kind of like a zombie is a one metaphor. Once you're infected, you kind of continue spreading the infection, whether you're doing that consciously or unconsciously. And if you're doing it unconsciously, well, those are the entities kind of manipulating your behavior. Hence the cannibalistic energy. So the whole point of this is to crush society's spiritual growth, which makes it easier to harvest energy, as well as for the higher-ups in command of society to continue their domination. And it's all kind of intertwined. On some level, this can create depression, and they want depression, not necessarily the people, but the energies behind this corruption. They want people to be kind of lethargic and depressed, because it creates the ideal situation where people don't put up a fight, and they don't own their energy. So yeah, there's a correlation between all of this and being brainwashed, and this intentional brainwashing of mixing things up, kind of like pleasure and pain, to the point where it confuses the emotions and makes people more easily brainwashed and controlled. Just when I was reading this, the word brainwash just came to my mind, so I had to mention that in this video. I get the sense that this is much more of like an insect type of energy, in the sense that it's not based on emotions in the same way that we experience emotions. And the end goal is to ultimately extract the soul from humanity, or at least drain all the energy and use this energy to create their own reality, to kind of become God, to create their own creation. Um, Basically using our energy to fuel their new world. And this would destroy us, kind of like you have to destroy something in order to create something new. And so that is where this is coming from. That's kind of where this is headed if it was to continue. I don't see this continuing, because I do see humanity being in an awakening phase right now, and things changing a lot. So what can you do about all of this? And the first thing is meditate, be grounded, be connected to the center of the earth with your auric field, because the more grounded you are, the less that these things can affect you. And I have made videos about this, so I will post those videos underneath this video in the description, so that you can watch a basic video on how to ground and how to become more connected with the center of the earth and have more of a solid aura that's more impenetrable from influences like this. So besides for that, other things that you can do are avoid corporate porn videos, corporate porn industry, even just the websites that are hosting a lot of these videos have been influenced with this agenda. Look for more of like the homemade type of material that is, not necessarily gonna have a third person holding the camera. That's kind of a dead giveaway that there's a lot of corporate control behind the video being made. If it's more of a natural homemade thing, it's not gonna have a third person holding the video as likely. I would avoid things like Pornhub and other popular websites of that nature, because they are designed to lower your vibration. And the people who design it may not even be aware that they're doing that. Although I do see that some people involved in this are actually fully conscious of what they're doing. So take care of yourself. I hope you'll practice some grounding meditation, especially for this month. This month is a month of lots of change. Things are not going to be the same after this month. So I would recommend grounding so you can, have the best outcome after all of this. There's a lot of positive energy coming in for the evolution of the human spirit, but along with that, there's going to be struggles and resistance towards taking the next step as a human species, and on an individual level of increasing your vibration. So, good luck. Practice some grounding, and I hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day. Take care.